All right, guys, what is happening? Welcome back to the channel. It is a very humid and hot Saturday morning here in Kalula, Queensland, Australia. And today we're gonna be taking the engine out of the Escort. For those of you that joined the channel and subscribed when I did the first video for the EFI conversion, you would have noticed there hasn't been any EFI conversion updates for a few weeks. That's because in order to do the next one, I needed to take the engine out and I needed an extra set of hands for that. My brother is here to help me with that today. So what I'm gonna do is set you down and put you on a time lapse, and I will voice over most of this video and sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Now I gotta ride or die. All right, guys, so I wanted to try and remove the suspension and like the sway bar and drive shafts and all that before my brother came up to help, but honestly I just couldn't get it out because it was all corroded in and I just didn't really know how to loosen it off. But considering this is my brother's day job, I figured he would know exactly what to do, and as you can see, he did, and it all came out. So happy days. Just undoing all of the engine mounts now to make sure that we can lift the engine out. And then the last one that we needed to take out was the big plate underneath the underneath the engine. You can see just lifting the engine out now. It took a little bit of maneuvering to get it out, but eventually got it. And we're just going to give it a quick little clean down. Not too much, just a little bit, just to clean it up before I put it into the garage and we start working on installing the crank positioning sensor. We needed to take the clutch and flywheel off in order to actually fit it onto the engine stand, so got underway with that, took everything off. Looks like the clutch has had a couple of hard starts in its life, but now we're on the engine stand. All right, guys, so as you can see, the engine is out. I got, look at that, bit of dirt on my face. Engine is out. Took probably an hour of work to get everything out, which wasn't too bad. Split it down from the gearbox. Had to take the clutch and flywheel off to mount it, but my brother reckons we're going to need a new clutch anyway, which is good because we're going to be running more power. What we're going to do now is clean it and clean everything else, like the floor, because we spilled heaps of shit, and then put the trigger wheel on. But you guys don't need to see us clean the floor of the garage and the block and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be maybe an hour or two for us, but 30 seconds for you. Now with the engine on the engine stand, we're just kind of lining everything up and having a look, reading the instructions, see how everything goes together. I say we, but this is really, I'm passing the tools and the cans of Coke, and my brother's kind of doing everything because, like I said, this is his day job and I've never done anything like this before. So away he goes trying to fit everything up, and what we noticed is that the bracket is actually fouling on the crank pulley, as you can see on the screen there. So we needed to kind of scratch our heads and think about how to make this work. So we're just kind of fiddling around with it and playing around, having a look. We decided that we basically just needed to modify the bracket that was supplied with the kit because we already got it. There's no need to go and buy another one. So that's what we did. We lined it up, cut it, and modified it. All right, guys, so as you saw in that time lapse, we had a bit of issue getting the bracket to sit and mount properly, and I'll show you the pictures I'll put on the screen now where you can see that it was just fouling on the crank pulley. We thought maybe got the wrong crank pulley, but turns out it is the right one. So what we've done is we've modified this backing plate bracket that I got from Burton's to basically make our own bracket. So the positioning sensor will sit here because, let's face it, doesn't really matter what bracket it is. It just needs to pick the signal up from the missing tooth here in the trigger wheel. So there you go. All right, guys, so it is all on now. As you can see, some of you may know what this is. This is my specific tool to adjust the fuel on the MFI unit. I don't need it anymore, obviously. So the CPS, or the crank positioning sensor, is now on. Now what I'm gonna do is run you through how we did it, because I had to stop the time lapse and just kind of scratch our heads for a bit, because the bracket, this backing plate bracket here, was not very well made, is what I'm going to say. I don't think it was the wrong one. It just wasn't very well made. And the position that it put it in meant that, as you can see in the photo up here, that this rubbed on the actual crank pulley, and there was no way to adjust it so it didn't. So what we've done is we've modified this backing plate by cutting some of it off, and we used the original top hole, drilled another one, so this one mounts onto the block back here in the position that it was supposed to. And this top one here, we had to drill that hole just to move the bracket out a little bit, and then drill 2 new holes, one here and one down here, to fit the actual bracket on that holds the crank positioning sensor, because those 2 holes were over here. And even if I had a smaller crank pulley, the crank positioning sensor was too close to the toothed wheel, so that was never going to work. So this was really the only way. Now, all that it really needs to do is, it doesn't matter that it's here instead of here, because all this sensor really needs to do is pick up this missing tooth here. So this is a 36 minus 1, so 36 teeth minus 1. And all it's going to do is it's going to rotate round this way. And as it picks up this missing tooth, because I'm going to program it to say that it's now 9 teeth until top dead center. So it'll pick up this missing tooth, it'll keep turning, and it'll count 9 teeth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then it'll be like, oh, we're at top dead center, and it'll know. And you can see up here on the top cam pulley as well, the little arrow pointing dead up, so we know that we're at top dead center. So guys, that is that. Yes, I am wearing a different shirt because it is a different day. The crank positioning sensor is all on now. All I'm going to do is clean up the block because it is a mess. I'm going to clean up the block, clean up the gearbox. I'm going to paint them and make them all nice and fresh looking. Clean up everything that's in the engine bay because it is very messy inside there. 34 years of just grime and stuff. So I'm going to clean all of that up in there, and then we will put the engine back in. My brother will come back up, help me do that. Put the engine back in and wire it all up. Get my custom downpipe made and hopefully turn the key. So guys, thanks for watching. Really appreciate your support. And if you did like today's video and you're still watching right now and you're not subscribed, then it means you really do like me. So please subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of when I upload more videos.